Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün New York'un merkezinde Fordham University lisans eğitimi, başvuru süreci ve burs imkanlarını Monica'dan dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Monica, the stage is yours now.
Thank you so much, Zeynep. Welcome, everyone. My name is Monica, and I am from Fordham University in New York City. Today, the plan is to show a short video about Fordham with some information that one of my colleagues recorded. It's just about 10 minutes. So the idea is to give you an overview of Fordham University in case you don't have a lot of information about the university. And then I will share a little bit more information about our application process for undergraduate international applicants, as well as share information about our financial aid and scholarship opportunities so that you have a good sense of kind of what the process would be like if you choose to apply to Fordham. I'm happy to answer questions. So if you have questions as the presentation is going on, feel free to add them in the question box. That's something that I think I'll wait until after the video and after a short presentation to start addressing questions, but you can put questions in there at any point in time. And again, this is meant to be helpful to you. It's meant to help you in your process to learn more about Fordham, but maybe to learn just about the process of applying to university in the United States in general. So I'm happy to address questions that you might have about the general process. I can't answer specific questions about other universities necessarily, but I can always use Fordham as an example. So without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and start the video for you about Fordham University. Just give me 1 second.
Welcome to Fordham University. At Fordham, you'll receive a rigorous education in one of the world's greatest cities. It's an education that pushes you to discover new people, new places, and new perspectives. We want you to question assumptions, to celebrate differences, to speak out against injustices, to bring out excellence in yourself and in those around you. The people who attend Fordham are what make it a special place. Our students come from across the country and around the world. They come from a variety of different racial and ethnic backgrounds. They all share a desire to create a better future. As a Jesuit university, we welcome people of all faiths, those exploring their faith, and people of conscience who practice no particular faith. Of course, we always strive to be better and do more. We want to become a more diverse, inclusive, and affirming community for all students. We are currently implementing an action plan, creating a dedicated multicultural center on both of our campuses, instituting annual mandatory anti-racism training for all faculty, administrators, staff, and students, and creating new scholarships to increase access. Whatever your background, we hope you'll join our community, helping us to change Fordham and transform the world. We are proud to call ourselves the Jesuit University of New York, a phrase that distinguishes us from all other universities and highlights how we can help you reach your full potential. These three parts, taken together, are what makes Fordham truly unique. Now, let's look more at each part, Jesuit, University, and New York. But we'll start with New York, our home. As a member of the Fordham community, you can add your voice and help endow the city with a restless energy, the sense of urgency, and the feeling of purpose that have come to define what it means to be a New Yorker. There are more than 8 million residents in New York, and therefore 8 million versions of the city. At Fordham, you'll make your own. Our community extends beyond our campus. We are a part of New York, and New York is a part of us. As a Fordham student, you will be immersed in the rich history, culture, and opportunities the city and Fordham provide. is always at the heart of what is taking place across the country and around the world. Even in the past few months, New York City has been at the center of the response to the COVID-19 pandemic and calls for racial justice. New York businesses, lawmakers, healthcare organizations, tech companies, nonprofits, and institutions like Fordham will be at the heart of whatever comes next, and hopefully you will be too, as Fordham ran. At our university, you have the option of living and studying in two different environments: our green Rose Hill campus in the Bronx and the urban Lincoln Center campus in the heart of Manhattan. At Rose Hill, you'll walk across a more traditional-looking college campus with open spaces like Edwards Parade, surrounded by Gothic architecture. You could go to a student club event at the new campus center that's currently under construction. You'll be part of a mid-sized university where you feel connected, but you meet new people all the time. At Lincoln Center, you'll be in the heart of Manhattan. You'll grab a bagel after class at the Flame Diner. You might walk to Central Park to study for your upcoming poli-sci exam. You could live in a residence hall with views of the Hudson River. You'll be part of a small college, seeing your friends frequently as you cross our plaza and go about your day. Think about which of these two campuses you'd like to have as your home base, whether you're a resident or a commuter. But throughout your time here, you'll have the opportunity to take classes at and explore both campuses. When you apply to Fordham, you'll pick your campus, and then you'll choose your college. At Fordham College at Rose Hill and Fordham College at Lincoln Center, our liberal arts and sciences colleges, you'll have the opportunity to study everything from STEM to theology, political science to journalism, economics to dance. Some liberal arts and sciences majors are college-specific, but most are available within both. If international business, marketing, accounting, or entrepreneurship are areas you're interested in, the Gabelli School of Business, located on both campuses, might be the right choice for you. Whether you already have a major in mind or you're undecided, our core curriculum will allow you to explore potential interests and broaden your perspectives, all while teaching you valuable skills to set you up for your future career. You'll not only have the opportunity to study a wide range of subjects, you'll also be able to see the connections among them and how they relate to society as a whole. And because we're a research university, regardless of which campus and college you choose, you'll have the resources and support you need to study abroad, pursue research, complete internships, and prepare yourself for your next academic or professional steps. When we talk about our university, we really mean our community. Attending Fordham means joining a community that will help you explore your passions, find new interests, and grow, both personally and professionally. Maybe you want to try working at WFUV, our public radio station, or join the Fordham Foundry, our hub for innovation and entrepreneurship, or give a cappella singing a try, or lead through student government. Whatever your interest, we support more than 225 clubs, including groups that focus on arts and culture, language, science, politics, and journalism. For those of you looking to continue your athletic careers, you can play competitively at the Division I level, on one of our club teams, or through intramural sports. Jesuit education is a promise of how you'll be cared for and what you'll be asked to do with your abilities. You'll be encouraged to think beyond the information that's in front of you, developing your own convictions as you listen to and learn from your classmates. You'll have the chance to become a social leader, advocating for those who are affected by injustice and engaging passionately and respectfully with a diversity of perspectives. No matter what you choose to study, you'll be introduced to these three core principles of Jesuit education. We want to challenge you as a whole person, help you find your passions, and thrive using your abilities, skills, and interests. As part of striving for Majus, you'll be encouraged to develop and share your talents and gifts with others. You'll emerge from your Fordham experience as a recognizable Jesuit graduate, a person of competence, conscience, compassion, and commitment to the cause of the human family. Our graduates are ready to make a difference in the world. 93% of our most recent graduates were situated within 6 months of graduation, securing a job, pursuing a graduate degree, or committed to other endeavors. So what is Fordham care for others, to do more, to set the example by being it. In this city, our journey is accelerated with energy overflowing all around us. To step outside and walk a million paths. For one moment, transform everything. To me, to discover new places and new people. To open our minds to new perspectives. To nurture the good in everything we see. Because change is served by the people who live it. To question assumptions, uncover doubts, and erase any hesitation to act. To be people of confidence, competence, compassion, and commitment. To come to know the world and ourselves a little better each day. That's why we choose Fordham. Someday, we hope you'll choose Fordham. But first, we want you to apply. Fordham uses the Common Application exclusively. In addition to the required essay, you'll also find one supplementary short response for Fordham. This year, we've made standardized tests optional. SAT or ACT scores are not required for admission or for financial aid. Next, how can you make college affordable? Our sticker price is one number, but the bottom line, or net price, is usually another number. We offer a variety of merit-based scholarships in addition to need-based aid. This past year, more than 90% of enrolled first-year students were awarded some kind of financial aid. Use our net price calculator to see what you might receive. We want you to have the opportunity to engage in service, find global experiences, conduct research, and participate in world-class internships. We want you to make new connections and expand your perspective. We hope you'll choose Fordham, where you can transform yourself and the world around you.
Okay, so hopefully that gave people a little bit of information about Fordham to ground the rest of this conversation. I would like to add some more details about the application process. You really only heard from my colleague Mike that we accept the common application at Fordham, which is true. That's the way to apply to Fordham. And for anyone not familiar with the common application, it is an application to U.S. universities that is shared by many, many different schools, hundreds of schools, actually. And you fill in the information, the standard information just once, and you can submit it to a number of institutions. But as Mike mentioned, we do have one short answer in addition to the standard common application essay. So just be prepared for that short answer. Many universities do have one or two or sometimes more short answer questions. In addition, it's important to know that when we look at your academic preparation for U.S. University, for Fordham, we look at multiple years of secondary education. So we actually are going to look at transcripts, the list of your courses and your grades for the 3 years prior to your current year of study at the university. And so it's not just your last year. It's not just the last 2 years of education that we're looking at. We actually are looking at grades that go back a few years. So it's important for you to be aware of that. And generally, we ask your school, we ask you to coordinate with your school, sending us your transcript and sending us a letter of recommendation from the school as well. And Fordham receives a number of applications from Turkish students every year. So we are very familiar with the education system in Turkey, and we have students on campus coming from different institutions all the time. So we would welcome your application. The other piece of information that was not mentioned in the video that is a standard requirement is English language proficiency testing. So for any international student for whom English is not a first language, we do ask you to submit English language proficiency test results. That can be in the form of a TOEFL test result or IELTS test results, two very common and offered at home right now English language evaluations. You can also submit Duolingo English test, the Duolingo DET results to Fordham. And we are currently asking students to submit those results officially. You can self-report them on the common application, but we do ask you to submit official results through the testing agencies as well. As Mike mentioned, we are SAT or ACT optional at Fordham. Please do not feel any pressure from Fordham to take those examinations. There is no requirement. You are not compared to other students who might submit those results in the application review. You are eligible for the same scholarships and potentially financial aid if you apply without SAT or ACT. So, please know that is not currently a requirement at the university. And for international students, we don't foresee that it will be again, even post-coronavirus pandemic. So to move on, I want to provide a little bit of information about financial aid and scholarships at Fordham because we are a private institution in the US, and as you saw, the cost of attendance is not insignificant. The costs that were listed in this video were for the last academic year. This current year, from 2021 to 22, we've actually frozen our costs. So those remain the current cost of attendance at Fordham. If you're an applicant for 2022 or beyond, obviously, I can't say that the costs will be exactly the same. So the costs at the university do go up approximately 3% a year, but you would have to check our website for the latest costs. So be prepared for that. So there are 3 different types of financial assistance that Fordham provides for international applicants. The opportunity for athletic scholarships at Fordham does exist. We are an NCAA Division I institution. So for some of our athletic teams, there are scholarships available. These are highly, highly competitive. You have to be at the top of your sport nationally, and usually in order to compete for one of these scholarships. And the Office of Admission really does not control that funding. That is entirely through the coaches of the individual sports. So if you're a super athlete, and you're interested in playing on one of Fordham's sports teams, I recommend that you and perhaps your coach get in touch with one of our coaches. That is really the best advice I can give you. Nothing through the admissions office really impacts athletic scholarships. We would never award that ourselves. But through the process of the admissions application, there are also 2 other possible funding opportunities. We do offer merit scholarships to international students. There is no separate application to apply. These awards range up to about $20,000 US per year of attendance. And what happens is if your application is reviewed and you are a strong candidate for admission, you would be potentially selected for a merit scholarship. And if you were awarded a merit scholarship, you would receive that information and the amount of the scholarship at the time that you receive your admissions decision. You really can't do anything to impact this process other than apply to Fordham. So if you apply, then you're kind of automatically in consideration. You should know that these awards are highly competitive. So Fordham had an applicant pool of about 45,000 students this year. The top 10 to 15% receive any merit scholarships, and that's inclusive of the international student population. So it's not automatic, obviously, that students receive a scholarship. It's in fact rare. It means that you're a very strong applicant for the institution. We have another opportunity for students who need more financial aid. It is a need-based financial aid program for international students. It is also highly competitive. This year, 7% of the students who applied received an award under this program. It functions very differently than our need-based aid for American students. And so it's kind of an entirely separate process. In order to apply for need-based financial aid at Fordham, you need to check the box on the common application that you are applying for financial aid. And then you need to, in addition to the application, the standard admissions application, you need to complete a financial aid application called the CSS profile, which is available from our website. You can get the link to the CSS profile on our website. It's detailed. It's a very detailed financial form. I'm not going to joke. It takes some time. So, don't take it lightly and wait till the last minute. The CSS profile is due at the same time of your admissions application. So if you are applying early decision or early action to Fordham, the CSS profile must be submitted by November 1. If you are applying regular decision, the CSS profile must be submitted by January 1. We review applications for international student need-based financial aid we look at both parts of the application together. So the academic application and the financial application are considered together. It is a need-aware application review. So you have to kind of be a good match for Fordham on both financially and academically. The need-based financial aid awards will not cover the full cost of attendance, which is approximately $75,000 per year, but they do go up to the full cost of tuition, which is about $55,000 per year. So you or your family would still have to be in a position financially to support essentially your room and board costs and miscellaneous other costs, your travel, your books, your health insurance, et cetera, which we estimate to be $30,000 to $35,000 per year. So bear that in mind as you're completing the CSS profile, that we are really looking for students that are the right financial match for this program, which does mean that your family has some ability to fund your study at the university, if not the full ability to fund your study. So I hope that that's clear. It's clearly not a program for everyone, and I wish it was. I wish we had more funding available, but it's been a very successful program at Fordham. We have offered, this year we offered several Turkish students our Favor Award, which is our need-based financial aid award, and we have, I think, probably in every year that we've run the program. So that's very exciting. And I think the program has allowed a diversity of students to attend Fordham that from different parts of the world, maybe that were not able to before. The last comment I'm going to make before I leap into the questions, and I see there are some questions there, thank you, is just to comment a little bit on the Jesuit nature of Fordham as a university. For some people, that might be a new term or a new description for a university. The Jesuits are an order of Catholic priests that have founded educational institutions globally. There are hundreds of Jesuit secondary education institutions and universities throughout the globe. We have partnerships with Jesuit universities in Spain, in Korea, in Japan, in Colombia, in Brazil. It's really kind of a wonderful international network that you would be a part of if you came to Fordham. There are 27 Jesuit universities in the United States, including Georgetown, Boston College, Santa Clara out in California, Fordham. And really, I just want to make clear for those who might not know, it's not a religious education. It's a liberal arts education with really an ethical foundation. Fordham does not tell anyone what to believe, does not only admit students of certain belief systems. We are a very, very open institution with people from every possible background, really reflective of the city that we're based in, New York City. If anyone's ever been to New York, I'm sure you've been aware of the incredible diversity, the geographic diversity, socioeconomic diversity, religious diversity, et cetera, of people in New York. And Fordham really welcomes students from every background. And what we try to do at Fordham is to kind of bring students together in a small classroom environment to really talk and share the different perspectives that students have. Students may come from very, very different religious backgrounds. We want to bring you into a classroom to really talk about that and share that with, with other students. We think it's a great opportunity for everyone to learn, not necessarily have a specific belief system, but to kind of learn about the other belief systems and ways that people are thinking about their place in the world. So I just want to make sure that there are some institutions in the US that are Christian institutions that are very religious in nature, and that is not the case with Fordham. There are theology classes that are part of your core curriculum at Fordham, but they are not doctrine classes. They are really more like philosophy. So you get to talk big picture about humanity and our way that we function in the world. So I hope that's helpful, but please, if there are questions, feel free to add more questions in the question section here. I'm going to go over now and see if I can address some of the questions. Do we have, the first question is, do we have a representative in Turkey? So I am actually the admissions counselor at Fordham that deals with students coming from Turkey and is the main point of contact. I did share my contact information in the chat and my email. You can always feel free to get in touch with me. I would love if I was based in Turkey. Turkey is, I think, in the top 3 places that I've ever visited in my life. I go back as often as I possibly can. I have not been there this year, but I do frequently go to attend a few events and try to speak with students and families directly in September or October every year. It's not enough. I would love to spend more time there and travel more, but we are definitely hoping to get back and to do that again as soon as the pandemic allows that kind of travel. Currently, Fordham University is not traveling domestically or internationally. So I'm your best bet. And I used to be able to count up to 10 in Turkish, and I know 2 or 3 very short phrases, but I'm the best you get unfortunately. But I hope that I can help you. I know a lot about Fordham, even if I'm not spending that much time in Turkey. So what are the most popular master's programs at Fordham? Okay, so I deal mostly with undergraduate admission to the university, but we have excellent programs. We have a top 25 School of Social Work at Fordham. It's always ranked really highly within the US. Very excellent preparation, and many local students that are working in New York City go through our School of Social Work. We have an excellent School of Education, which also prepares New York City teachers, I think, at a rate higher than most other institutions in the city. We have graduate schools of business, so you can do an MBA or any number of 1 to 2 year master's programs in business. We have a law school, which is also a very highly ranked program, including we have a JD degree, the law degree in the US, as well as an LLM, so an international law program. And then we have a School of Arts and Science that students can participate in as well. All of the programs at the graduate level, except for Arts and Science, are at our Lincoln Center Manhattan campus, so they're very accessible for adults that are living throughout New York City. If you come to New York City and you're living really anywhere in the city, it's very accessible to get to Lincoln Center. It's right in the heart of the island of Manhattan, a block from Columbus Circle, a block from Central Park, and right next to Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts. So great locations. But I'm actually not sure which is the highest enrolled program. I would say all of the programs, are pretty popular. So, do we have any academic partnerships with Turkish universities? We do have a partnership with our business school, has a partnership with Koç University. I'm not exactly sure of the parameters of that partnership, but that's the one that I know of. I think undergraduate students may also now be able to go on exchange back and forth with Koç, but I don't have all those details. So email me if you want that question, and I can do a little research and get back to you. It's probably also available on our website, but I can help you find more details. That's the only one I know off the top of my head. I know your university in New York. Oh, thank you. Someone's visited the campus and is telling me that it's very nice. I agree. The 2 campuses are really unique. So the location, as I mentioned, at Lincoln Center is fantastic. Very central to everything. If you've ever visited New York City as a tourist, you probably have walked by our Lincoln Center campus or been very near. It's the bottom block of Central Park, just a couple blocks west of that. And if you've been to anything at Lincoln Center for the performing arts, any performance, you've been right next to our campus. And it's a small campus. Geographically, it's not really spread out. It's pretty self-contained, but it is in a great location. And we have a brand new freshman or first year student residence hall that's about 3 years old. That's got incredible views of New York City. So when things reopen, and if you're in New York and you can take a tour, come and take the Lincoln Center campus tour and see those views. They're stunning. And then the Rose Hill campus in the Bronx offers, a very unique urban campus experience. It's 85 acres of green space. You got to see in the video, you notice big green open lawns and ivy-covered stone buildings. It's actually been used to film several movies of traditional American college campuses, but it's right in the city. So you're 3 blocks from the New York City subway. You have access to everything in the city, but you have a real campus experience. We have a full set of athletic facilities there. You feel like you're on a suburban campus that has a lot more, space, but you're right in the city, right near the Bronx Zoo, across the street from the Botanical Gardens, a few blocks from the subway, and right next to the Bronx Italian, like kind of Little Italy neighborhood. So it's really fantastic location. So yes, come visit when you can. I know nobody's coming right now, but hopefully soon. Okay. Information about our language requirement. Yes. Do I offer English prep here or pre-English Yes. Okay, great question. So Fordham does ask for students to submit TOEFL, IELTS, or DET results with your application for admission. We look for a minimum of 90 on the TOEFL, but you should know that the average for admitted students is about 100. We look for 7.0 or better on the IELTS exam, and I think the average is 7.0 or 7.5 on IELTS for admitted students. And then we look for 120 or better on the Duolingo DET test. This was the first year we accepted the DET, so that number is possibly subject to change because we're just using that exam for the first time. If you feel like you need some additional English language preparation for Fordham, we offer a full English Language Institute. It's called the Institute of American Language and Culture. The website is fordham.edu/ESL. Super easy to find information about that, but again, you can always email me if you can't find it. That program offers multi-level, full-time ESL instruction, so students could come and do a semester, do a year, whatever they need kind of before they enter university study. There are two ways to get to kind of go through that program. You can apply directly to the IALC, come in as an ESL student, and then once you're at the university, if you decide to apply to the undergraduate or graduate program, you can do so from within New York. Undergraduate students can also just submit an application for admission to Fordham. They do have to submit TOEFL, IELTS, or DET, but if the rest of your application looks like you're a good match for the university, and your score is just a little bit lower, or you have some concerns about your English language level, you can be referred to a program called Via Fordham, which is a semester or a year of ESL with automatic admission to the undergraduate program. So again, I'm providing some basic information here. I can send you to a website if you want more information, but there are ways to study English before a degree at Fordham, and the program is really excellent preparation. It is very, very good academic preparation for the start of an undergraduate or graduate program. And in fact, we have students often who come and do our ESL program and then, choose maybe to go to other universities for their graduate degree, but our ESL program is really good preparation, so it has a good reputation. So I hope that helps a little bit. A question about dual degree programs with Turkish universities. Again, I think I'm not sure that it's a dual degree. I think it's more of an exchange, but the program that I know of is with Koç University in Istanbul. And that's with our business school specifically. The law school might have a program too, but I don't really know those programs off the top of my head. Okay, the minimum GPA requirement for bachelor degree application, okay. So we don't have a specific cutoff. Fordham uses a very holistic application review process. So we look at a number of different factors. We really look through your application. You're going to submit the transcript. You're going to submit some information about kind of what you do in school and what you do outside of school. If you're involved, if you play an instrument or you're involved in any kind of community service over your high school career, or you play a sport, all that information you're going to share with us. You're going to share some information in the essay and short answer you provide that you're writing for us as part of the application. And we're going to get a letter of recommendation from your school. All of that information is considered together. So it's not really kind of one piece of information. Oh, you have a certain GPA and you're admitted or you're not admitted. It's a little different. Some schools, in different parts of the world, including the US, if you meet minimum standards, you're kind of admitted to the university. But Fordham is a little different that way. The average GPA for incoming students is the equivalent of, a US A-, or maybe 3.7 on a 4.0 scale. On a Turkish 100-point scale with the highest grade of kind of 85 or better, and I'd have to calculate it exactly. Probably a student in the mid to low 80s average. I'm kind of making that up. I don't know. I'd have to calculate it exactly. So students are pretty good students that are admitted to the university. I would say that admission is competitive. It's not as competitive as I imagine people are hearing right now. Some of the Ivy League schools were this year with very, very increased applicant pools. but generally Fordham admits about 40 to 45% of the students that apply. So competitive admission, if not, super highly selective admission. So I know that doesn't really help if you're looking for a specific answer, like, will you accept me with this GPA? But what I would say is if you have done pretty well and you're a pretty strong student, it doesn't, for the most part, it's good to throw your application in, but just be aware that that the program does have competitive admission. And I would say particularly our business school, which is our most popular program at the undergraduate level for international students, both your math grades and your overall GPA, should be relative, should be pretty strong, because that's our most competitive program. And our business school is split between our two campuses. The Rose Hill campus has a number of majors. The Bronx campus has majors in marketing and finance and accounting. Those are probably the three most popular, entrepreneurship, et cetera, with a number of different concentrations. Our Lincoln Center Manhattan campus just has one major in global business with several different concentrations, but everyone that goes to Lincoln Center, and it's a small cohort of people each year, everyone that goes to Lincoln Center does the global business major. It's a very international group of students. About 40% of the class every year is either international students or Americans coming from overseas who have lived internationally. So many of the students that you'd be with in that cohort of students is going to bring, fantastic sets of experience into the discussion in that classroom because they're coming from, economies throughout the world. Little tangent there about business. Okay, so I didn't actually see this question, but what are the main bachelor programs that Fordham is known for? Internationally, at the undergraduate level, I think most popular definitely is business, particularly the global business program in the last few years, particularly students from Turkey interested in that program. So if you're a liberal arts students coming from Turkey, you have maybe are a little bit more unique. But the most popular programs at the institution, business is most popular for international students. Communications at Fordham is very popular. We have majors in journalism. We have a film and television major. We have a digital media major. And communications experiences are just so rich in New York City, as are business experiences. So lots of students do internships, and they get great internships. So you can intern at NBC Studios, which is right down the block from the Lincoln Center campus. Really incredible hands-on opportunities for students in communications. All our business students have fantastic internship opportunities also. Every major accounting company, all international banks have a base in New York. It's, really, really rich set of opportunities. But communications is also, I think, really popular. Other generally popular majors, biology. Fordham does a pretty strong pre-med track or pre-health professions track for students interested in going on to medical school or other medical degrees in the US. Political science and American studies, very popular programs. We have a really great program in international political economy at Fordham, just fantastic faculty in that area. Psychology is always in the top 5. I think that might be everywhere in American universities. Psychology is a really popular degree in the US. So I think those probably are, some of the most popular options. But we have majors in dance and theater. We have majors in chemistry, engineering, physics, environmental science, international studies. So it's really, quite broad what you can study at Fordham. A number of languages. So I hope that helps. So we have a number of certificate programs. The next question is about, do we offer diploma or certificate programs? And most of those are offered through our School of Professional and Continuing Studies, which would be a specific kind of admissions area on our website. And I would refer you directly to our website for that. If you choose for admission in the admissions kind of block on our website, there's something that will say adult or part-time admission. And that's where all the certificate programs really are located. And there are a couple of really interesting ones, including a relatively new and exceedingly popular one in real estate. So, which if anyone follows real estate, it's like a huge topic of conversation in New York City. So, is it possible to transfer credit from a Turkish university if you do 2 years of a Turkish bachelor's degree. Absolutely, you can apply to Fordham as a transfer applicant. And the process is very similar. The timeframes are a little bit different, but you can apply to enter either in January in our spring term, and you have to apply by November 1 to do that. Or you have to apply, I think the deadline is June 1 for fall admission, which would be starting classes in August. But we're already reviewing applications, so you can apply as early as February or March for fall intake as a transfer student. And this very similar application process, you submit actually your secondary school, your high school transcript, complete high school transcript, and then you submit any grades from the Turkish university. I think the only challenge that I would make you aware of there is that because the systems can be very different, maybe not everything transfers over. And because Fordham has a pretty broad core curriculum, you may be taking some classes in your, what would be your third year of university. If it's your first year at Fordham, you might be taking some classes that, most of our first year students take because it's part of the core requirements. But yes, absolutely. And we have a whole set of information on our website about transfer admission and specifically about international student transfer admission. So we have transfer students coming from around the world all the time. So absolutely possible, definitely something you can consider. And yes, you can, the next question is about doing internships. You can absolutely have the opportunity to do internships. Almost all of our students do internships. I know international students that have done 3 or 4 internships when they're with us. If you kind of know what your interests are, there are endless opportunities in New York. New York is a great city for practical experiences. And we really encourage students to balance the classroom theoretical discussion that you have with practical experiences. We build some practical experiences into your academic program at Fordham. So, the business school has kind of different contests where students in small groups solve problems for real businesses and then present their solutions in a group forum, and the winner, receives prize. And it's a way to really get students practical experience within our curriculum. But we encourage students to definitely take advantage of New York City in every way, but absolutely professionally. We bring in speakers from all sorts of different institutions in New York and internationally, so that you have the opportunity to network. We have great adjunct faculty. The managing director of the Bank of America teaches an undergraduate finance course at Fordham. So the students in that class, have this person's email, and it's a great professional contact. We have a 2,000 internship database that you get access to as soon as you become part of Fordham. And obviously not all of those internships will be, in your specific area of interest, but there are plenty of options that you will be exposed to. And we really will help guide you through the process. We have internship fairs where people come on campus and you can just walk around and talk to people about what they're offering in terms of internships. And then you can talk with your advisor, different faculty, about what they would recommend or what opportunities they know about. I think the great thing about Fordham and internships is that you're not just limited to doing like a summer internship. Because we're in New York, you can integrate, in your third year of study, you can integrate 2 days of internship with 3 days of classes. You can get, to anywhere in the city really for a full internship experience while you're taking classes. And I think students love that. They love that because they're seeing, real life problems and issues and, what a real life job is at the same time that they're then coming back and talking about kind of, the theory of, that particular issue in the classroom. And I think it's a really great balance because it makes the education at Fordham very practical. It's not just kind of pie in the sky thinking about, how we can make the world perfect without thinking about the realities that, people face every day. And I think that's kind of a special part of Fordham education is that, we don't ever lose sight of the reality that people and companies are facing. So yes, you don't usually come in and do an internship in your first year, but students do kind of start to poke around and find out what the options are, even the first 2 weeks on campus sometimes. But certainly within the first couple of years, you'll get some experiences and be encouraged to seek out some practical opportunities. So great question. How many Turkish students do we have in total? I don't know that off the top of my head. We have Turkish students, I know, at the law school, the business school, and I know positive at the in the undergraduate level. I know we have a handful of students, but I don't actually know the number. It's a small percentage of the overall population. Internationally, Fordham is close to 20% international students in total, because we have a couple of really big programs. Our LLM program is entirely international students, and several of our business programs are really almost exclusively international students. So there are a number of international students at the university. Undergraduate, I think you saw in the video, is close to 10% international, but Turkish students are, a percentage of that, not a huge percentage of that. The Arts and Sciences faculty, so the graduate program of Arts and Sciences is at the Rose Hill campus in the Bronx, but we have Arts and Sciences faculty teaching at the undergraduate level on both campuses. If you want to be a psychology major for a bachelor's degree at Fordham, you can go to Lincoln Center or to Rose Hill. The program is identical on both campuses, and you can do the full program on either campus. You never need to take a class at the other campus. You can, if you want to, because we run a shuttle bus between the two campuses every half an hour. So it's really easy to get back and forth, and to take classes. If you find a professor that you really want to take a class with at the other campus, or something fits in your schedule better, or you want to take a class that's only offered at the other campus on a given semester, whatever, you can definitely cross-register. That's very easy and natural to do in our program, but it's not a requirement. You should be able to do your program on your home campus. And the only campus-specific majors at Fordham are dance and theater are only at Lincoln Center. Those are our audition or interview programs. We have a BFA dance program in conjunction with the Alvin Ailey School, which is a modern dance school in Manhattan. And then we have, which is just fantastic, phenomenal program. And then we have a dramatic theater performance degree, which requires an audition. We also offer majors, in directing, playwriting, and production and design. Those are only at Lincoln Center. And we offer more science majors at the Rose Hill campus because we have more room for science labs. So if you're interested in the sciences, you can do a natural science degree at Lincoln Center, and you can do integrated neuroscience at Lincoln Center. But chemistry, physics, engineering physics are only at Rose Hill. Otherwise, humanities and social sciences, languages, there are a few more languages I think that are based at Lincoln Center, but you can do any of those other programs on both campuses at the undergraduate level. So you would really choose on the application, do I want to be kind of in the heart of Manhattan, or do I want the kind of more campus feeling Rose Hill campus? And that's, whichever one you choose is where we consider you for admission. Do we have any Turkish faculty members? Yeah, we do. We have several Turkish faculty members, but the only one that I know really well is a fellow who works pretty closely with us in the Graduate School of Business. And he is, I'm going to draw a blank on his name, but he's a really supportive of our efforts to recruit internationally. And also one of the deans that I work with at the Graduate School of Business is originally Turkish. She's lived in the US for many years, but we do. And so hopefully you would get to meet them if you're a student there, definitely within the business school. I don't know about arts and sciences, I would have to check. You guys are sending in great questions. I love it. Thank you for asking some really good and thoughtful questions. Okay, the next one is about the coronavirus pandemic. Okay, so great and relevant question. I'm sure everyone heard on the news, New York City was, an epicenter of the virus last spring. This time last year was really, really hard in New York City. And we are far, I think, from that situation in many ways, psychologically as well as kind of health-wise and physically. The pandemic still continues to be a threat, I think, obviously for many people, but overall we've come really far. I just saw on a New York Times site last night that 21% of people in New York State, in the entire state, are fully vaccinated. And over a third have at least one vaccination. because a lot of the vaccines that we're getting here are the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. So they're 2 vaccine doses. Fordham has been offering vaccines now. We tried to get them early, but we finally gotten them in the last month or so. So Fordham is offering days where students can get, faculty and staff can get vaccines. The vaccine availability just opened to anyone in New York State over the age of 16. So I expect that in the next month that millions more people are fully vaccinated. There's still a threat here, obviously, as there is everywhere, but I think the number of people that are moving towards full vaccination, it makes it, really feel a lot better. The risk of serious illness obviously going down. Hospitalizations are down, deaths are down, dramatically as things progress. And, we're getting really nice weather here now in New York. So more outdoor activity, I think, will help people as well. But in terms of Fordham has, we shut down everything on campus last spring, as everywhere did. In the fall, we did reopen the campus, and students could move back onto campus and have been living there all year with relatively low COVID numbers. We had one instance in February where we kind of shut down Rose Hill in-person classes for 2 weeks, just because the numbers seemed to be getting higher. But there's a very, strict regimen that everybody goes through. You do a head daily health check and temperature screen. There's random testing. There's initial testing as you move on to campus. Lots of kind of different precautions in place. We haven't allowed visitors on campus all year. And students have been able to live on campus or live off campus. We have some international students taking class from home. I mean, it's really run the gamut this year, lots of different experiences. So you could be fully online, but students can also take some in-person classes. So it's up to the students, and it's a minimal number of students that chose that option, honestly. But that is available to the students that have wanted it. I don't know that anybody has all of their classes in person, but at least some of the classes is possible. And their plan for the fall is, really kind of normal on-campus activity. I'm not sure that it will be exactly what it was 2 years ago. I think there'll still be some limits in terms of the number of students in a given class physically, and there might be still some online classes, but there is really the plan for a return to in-person instruction as much as possible. And students will be welcomed back again into the residence halls if they want to live on campus. We guarantee housing for all 4 years if a student wants to live on campus at Fordham, but there's no requirement. So most of our first-year students live on campus, and then many of our second-year students, some of our third and fourth-year students live on campus. So it really depends on the campus and what year you are. But I think in the pandemic, sometimes people have just opted for off-campus for various reasons. Many, I think, because they can cook in the kitchen more easily. But Fordham, I have to say, I've worked at Fordham for 20 years, and I was a little nervous in August about everybody coming back. It just seemed like a huge challenge, but Fordham has done a really good job. They've done a really good job. They've kept the community really safe, absolutely prioritized the health of our students and our faculty and staff. And I actually couldn't be more proud of the way they've managed things. And I think Fordham families feel similarly. So, all of that said, I think people will still be wearing masks. I don't know really what the requirements to move on to campus will be. We haven't heard anything about mandatory vaccines. There's lots of questions still out there about the fall. And, as the last year has taught us, every month, new information comes along, and you have to shift your perspective. So maintaining flexibility, but paying attention to, the COVID website. Every university, every business, everybody has a kind of a COVID update website now. Feel free to go there and, get updates on a regular basis. They do report publicly numbers of positive cases. They, report any major changes to campus policy. So you can get updates there, and you can always feel free to reach out to me or my office if you have, other specific questions. I did get a coronavirus vaccine. Thank you. I am fully vaccinated, and I'm 2 weeks out, more than 2 weeks out from my vaccine. So it was a huge relief, and it felt great. So most of my colleagues are getting vaccinated right now. As I said, Fordham opened, has publicized some small opportunities for folks in the Fordham community to get vaccines over the last month, but just in the last, actually in the last week, it was last week, not this week, last week, they sent out an email about vaccination appointments on campus. And I hope, and I think they're hoping that that continues. And that was open to everybody in the community, so students also could sign up for vaccine appointments. So again, hopefully we continue to get vaccine shipments. It's all dependent on kind of what we can get. My email contact information is in the chat. If you scroll down to, where is it? It's at the very top, actually. My email is esser@fordham.edu. So jump over to the chat if you have need of my email. It's also available on our website, so you can track me down. I love the questions about my personal vaccine. Are you worried about my safety? Or I personally got Pfizer. I got vaccinated at a hospital called St. Barnabas, which is about 3 blocks from Fordham. It's really close in the Bronx. And I ended up getting vaccinated in a very weird way. I had signed up like in a kind of, if there's vaccines at the end of a day, I was not eligible by age. I have a health condition, so I was eligible that way like a couple months ago. And they said, sign up here, and if at the end of the day there's extras, we might call you, and then you can go in at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and get a vaccine. And I ended up getting a call in the middle of the workday, but a really snowy day here in February. The snow is just coming down. It was crazy. And they said, so many people have canceled because of the snow. If you can get there, you can get a vaccine. So I drove like a snail in kind of crazy conditions, but I got my vaccine, and then you're kind of signed up for a second one automatically. So yeah, but the things you do these days. And yeah, and I mean, we just opened up to 16 and above in New York Tuesday, and my daughter is actually getting a vaccine right now. She's 17. So it's really become much more accessible even in the last few weeks. Every week it seems like there's more accessibility here. So lots and lots of people I know are vaccinated. You might be reading, I don't know, you're reading about the US. I think there are different demographics of people, have different access, unfortunately. So I think that remains a challenge, equal access to vaccinations. But I think the volume here in the US has really been increasing with our new president. So. I think those are all the questions that I'm seeing. I'm going to go check here and see if there are any other. I don't see anything else. We only have 1 minute, so it's probably too late. Thank you all so much for coming and tuning in today. It has been a pleasure. It is really fun to get to kind of try to help people in their process. Absolutely use that email address if you guys have follow-up questions that were not addressed today, or you can't find something on our website. I'm happy. I'm happy to help. I like this job because I get to help people. So just let me know if there's anything that you need that you don't have access to. And I wish everybody that's applying to undergraduate, graduate school the best process you can have. I hope that it works out for everyone. And, thanks for tuning in and learning more about Fordham.
Yes, thank you very much for your great presentation, Monica. We believe it was a really comprehensive and informative webinar for the attendees. We had a lot of questions and you covered them all. Thank you for your answers. Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Fordham University ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için Monica'nın paylaşmış olduğu mail adresinden iletişime geçebilir. Linkleri inceleyebilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda sizi 6'daki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you again, Monica. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Teşekkür ederim.
Oh, thank you.
That's my Turkish.
That was a good pronunciation.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.